I'm Randy Gerber, and welcome to the second episode of the Founder Ride. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the assistance, some of the processes, some of the people I use to get where we are today. And it's a natural evolution. At least I will say in the times we live in today, a natural evolution, meaning that a lot of the tools that were available to me in my journey weren't available to people 30 and 40 years ago. And who knows what the tools will be in 30 and 40 years from today. The interesting part of my ride, and I think is typical for a lot of folks, a lot of entrepreneurs the last 20 years, is that initially you plug into an ecosystem of people that don't know what they're doing. They're people who love you, people who care about you. Oftentimes, a big mistake that's made is the first generation entrepreneur will talk to other business leaders who are successful in business but have no entrepreneurial experience. They came up the ranks through the professional model, through the big corporation. And that is a mistake I see happen over and over and over again. And to some degree, I did that a little bit. But I was pretty lucky in that because financial planning was a new industry, very new industry back then, 90, 91, 92, 93. I was around a lot of other independent entrepreneurs who were in that same business, so we were able to commiserate together about what we were doing. Now, it was all around financial planning and investment management, but they were entrepreneurial minded. And so I realized pretty quickly that having an ecosystem of people around me who understood the journey, or at least were going through the journey in the same place I was very valuable. As time went on, that those people around me were local, and then I expanded that network to people across the country. Again, all financial advisors who were independent, but again, people going through the same type of journey I was. And then I heard about this group called Young Presidents Organization, which is a group of for people that are presidents of organizations that were pretty sizable back then. And I didn't qualify for it, but I thought, how interesting. What a cool group across the country of different type businesses that come together and talk about their issues as being a president, a leader of a company. And pretty shortly after that, I heard about a relatively new organization that had formed called Entrepreneurs Organization. This was specifically for entrepreneurs. And back then, it was a loosely defined, who was an entrepreneur. When I first joined back in 1999, it was, there were entrepreneurs that were second and third generation. As time had gone on, EO's now, our Entrepreneurs Organization is called EO, is largely for people who started businesses that of certain size. And I immediately joined EO. And that's where I found my people. That's where I really found, I was in a forum of 8 over the years, 6 to 10 different people of non-competing businesses that talk about anything related to business, to personal, to family, to financial, whatever the case may be. And there's a really strong format they've created over time and refined, frankly, to have vulnerable, candid conversations. And through that process, I realized, the big thing with EO that's really important is that they embrace a process called Gestalt, which is you can't give advice. You can only share experiences. And it was very obvious to me that there was a big piece missing for first generation entrepreneurs, that they need advice. And so being in the advice business, largely again, or initially I should say through financial planning and investment management, that's when we made the decision to start learning how to give advice around businesses or anything actually that touches the first generation entrepreneur's life. So today we talk about private school, public school, the right nursing home for your parent. Should we, buy a second house or a third house? Is it okay to buy a fancy car? It's kind of crazy, the things we talk about. Of course, we talk about compensation within the business and how to grow companies and how to finance that, et cetera, et cetera. But first generation entrepreneurs bounce from topic to topic to topic to topic, day to day, and we've learned how to help them navigate those decisions. So, and today, there's lots of opportunities for people to have peer-to-peer networks, whether it be through Vistage or EO or YPO. There's other things I'm sure out there that I'm missing, but there's also an opportunity to receive advice. These experiences complement each other oftentimes, but that is the business that we're in. We're in the business of giving advice, personal, professional, business, whatever, to first-generation entrepreneurs. As time's gone on, Gerber's clients are bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's probably going to continue to be the case because as we grow and get better and better, our clients get bigger and bigger. We help them sell the companies, help them buy new companies sometimes, just depends. We've also created a new company, which we'll talk about later in greater detail, called Founder Farm. And this is specifically a community of entrepreneurs for smaller businesses. So call it from $300,000 of sales to $2 million of sales, where Gerber's advertised companies, depending upon the year, and depends on who sold or didn't sell, could be as low as $50 million of sales or as high as $90 million of sales. The other big thing, too, that it's much harder in Gerber for us to create a community of entrepreneurs because of the confidentiality piece around the financial planning and the wealth management, which is why we in part create a Founder Farm where we don't talk about financial planning, investment management, wealth management at all. It is exclusively about the community solving problems and providing advice as well as necessary. So I think as time goes on, and the world's changed too, where social media and all these online tools, that people are changing how they consume information, changing how they consume advice. And we're trying to be there at every front and not really dictate to the client, hey, this is the right way, this is the only way. But there's multiple ways to plug into this. So at the end of the day, and I'm going to repeat this because it's important to remember, being an entrepreneur is really hard. It's very lonely. Being a first-generation entrepreneur is harder. And in my opinion, one of the most critical aspects is the community. That's really what we're trying to do across all of our businesses with this podcast, a place for you to plug in and commiserate, get advice, and grow your business, and really, candidly, at the end of the day, realize all your life dreams and goals. And that's what this is all about. And I probably should have started with this. One of the reasons we work with first-generation entrepreneurs is they are very goal-oriented. They want to live life differently. They want to do things unique. They want to have unbelievable experiences. We also work with them because they're pretty fun people, and I like to have fun as well too. But the primary reason is they're very goal-oriented, and they're all striving, all of us, me, you, striving to live life a certain way. And it's hard. That's why it's so, being an entrepreneur is so difficult, and that's why we're trying to create as many platforms and venues for you to plug into and help you achieve your life goals. Thank you for listening today. Our next episode is about, our third episode is about the relationships you have through the ride of being an entrepreneur and how they change as time goes on. It's tricky. It's actually so tricky that I wrote a book. It only took me 15 years to write it, but I wrote a book about this topic. Regardless, thanks for listening today. Hopefully you got some nuggets out of this. I look forward to our next episode.